this Rapture talk reminds me so much about how much my relationship to my body, myself, my home, including a truck for 5 years, to the world, to the planet, to everything is really just an extension of my own self-hatred, of centering men and centering white men and whiteness and the violence of all of that. And I'm not saying people who live like this, who are nomadic, who follow outdoor adventure jobs like I did or whatever, like I loved this life for a while, but I didn't live in my truck the way a lot of people lived in their truck. Mine was a mess, partly because of ADHD, which I did not realize, but partly because I just kept recreating everywhere I went a sense of chaos, a sense of not feeling safe, a sense of there being a constant threat. And so I created this box that no one else could sleep in. Like, look, there's like literally nobody else but me can sleep in this box. A lot of people made a full bed in case they had company, not me. I didn't let anyone in the front seat of my truck either. God, this is a whole story of never letting even the people I trust the most. But anyway, like my relationship to my body and my home and my sense of home is so important about how it informs my worldview. And I've seen so many of my mutuals have really made me think a lot about all this. Also, this book right here, I'm afraid they're not going to let me show the whole, it's a beautiful photo. The Body is Not an Apology by Sonya Renee Taylor. This book helped me really understand how important the work is for me to not hate myself. And as somebody who had an eating disorder for over 15 years, like, well, yeah, I mean, I can't even say the words because they're going to ban my videos saying I'm promoting the very thing that I'm not promoting, but by saying the words, but okay. This book changed my life. This really helped me understand how this hierarchy, how whiteness plays out to this, how ableism plays out with this, how every aspect of my body and being at war with my body, and therefore an extension, at war with the world, and even at war with the planet that sustains us. Like, it really helped me connect the dots about how this is all tied together. And my mutual Shayna, this video right here, it's one of her most recent videos, but I don't know when you're going to watch. She tied this, she's amazing. Follow her. I have an interview with her coming out very soon. We talked about the most amazing stuff. And she just did a video about being raised in, fundamentalist religious background where like the rapture was something that that she was worried about all the time, and informed like how like her who she was afraid to make friends because of it. And she said something that made me realize, God, so much of our problems really are about like centering men, white men, especially, and how it's tied to religion and stuff. Because I swear to God, there was a lot of reasons why I had an eating disorder, but one of the reasons why is because I was just I was so afraid of not catering to the male gaze, right? GAZE, okay? And how, whether it's religion, like the rapture, like she was talking about how the rapture is about like centering her life and her decisions based on some future, and about how a future that like it's going to be better somewhere else, and like this God is going to like you get to go to heaven eventually and be with this fucking man, right? And, with my eating stuff, like a lot of it was just, there's a lot of reasons behind it. But one of the reasons why I was just so cruel to my body, because the idea of not being, slim enough, which is very much tied to whiteness, also tied to like my dad used to constantly make fun of weight and stuff like that. Was like the comments that like the environment I grew up in was very much like, there's consequences if you don't look a certain way. And thinness is worshipped, especially within whiteness. I think a lot of white people know that. I think it's part of it. It's part of it. It's like white women, you got to be, like a petite little bird, a frail little bird that can crack your book, like not strong, like a good girl. Where's that doll? Here it is. Hey. And so, to please my dad, to please the male gaze, to please patriarchy and all that stuff, I just knew that I could not be over a certain weight, right? And so I just threw everything up, and then I also, like, there's a lot of reasons behind it, but it's really embarrassing to be like a feminist who is like a rock climber and an outdoor guide and a raft guide and this strong badass woman who didn't wear makeup, didn't wear heels, didn't do any of the stuff that patriarchy told me to do, because I'm a tomboy and I don't believe in that stuff. And yet I was still like throwing up all the time, because I didn't want, and binging, and like I did it, but I couldn't gain weight, right? And part of that was because of the male gaze, and because of like, and also just like, there's a million reasons behind, not a million, oh my God, exaggerating much. But part of it also was because it was an addiction, it was an escape, it felt good. But it was so violent. It was so violent. Now, the act itself was violent, but, it's the same reason people cut. It made me feel alive. And it also got rid of all those calories so that I wouldn't, be shunned by my dad and the rest of society if I gained any more weight. But to be this walking contradiction, this big, tough, strong girl, a woman, and then realizing that I spend so much of my time throwing up and thinking about food and just policing myself and just hating my body all the time. And all of that is to what? Serve some future man to be picked. Or current men, so that men would make fun of me, men would be attracted to me. But and so the way that the rapture and this idea of some God, some man in the sky is going to make you happy one day, or some man on earth is going to make you happy one day, right? When your body is your home, right? Your body is your home. This I did not feel at home within my home. And therefore, I kept recreating situations. Not only was I at war with myself, but anytime I had a home, I moved all the time. I had wheels on my home, so I could literally run away constantly. And then within my home, I never let anybody inside of it. And it was a mess, partly because of ADHD, right? And my friend Liz helped me organize my truck finally so that it made sense. And I at least could have a bunch of doom boxes that made sense versus just the whole box, the whole shell, the whole compartment in the back being one giant doom box. So some of it was ADHD, but also I was just living in my truck looked different than everyone else's. Liz she lived in her truck too, but she had lights, Christmas lights. She had pillows. She had I had a pillow, but the way that I didn't even buy myself a bed, a bed until I was, I think, 32 or 33. And that was a big deal. And I bought it used, but I just, put a bed bug cover over it. But I had bed bugs, y'all know. I was on the Dr. Oz show talking about this. And bed bugs is what really unlocked all of the trauma of having a predator literally in your home, eating you while you sleep. A lot of them, right? But anyways, I have I could write a whole book about home and my relationship to home. And I actually did write a book proposal and it didn't sell because there was no resolution. But maybe I should, go back to that and pitch it to my agent, the new version of this. Because the way that these are all connected is this this idea of oh, we just go to another planet. Screw this one. How all these tech bro psychos, they're like, hey, AI. This guy is literally people in the most disadvantaged places in Memphis, which is usually Black communities. This man with his little big data center in Memphis, they can't breathe clean air anymore. The water is poison. These data centers are going to destroy the planet so fast. Please stop using ChatGPT unless you absolutely have to. Please stop using AI unless you absolutely have to. These data centers are going to kill our planet. And this guy just wants to colonize Mars so bad. Of course he does. The colonizer mentality. Son of this guy who is literally worse than Woody Allen somehow. Had two children with his stepdaughter, who he parented since she was 4 years old. So this is his dad. His father had children with his half sister. So this daddy, I swear to God, so many of these men who are destroying the planet are part of families that are abusive dads, abusive families, and a lot of times even have, and the way Donald talks about his daughter. There's no way he didn't do something. All these freaks who hate themselves and are full of white male entitlement. Just this cute little boy who creates stuff that's going to ruin the world. Have you heard the allegations from his sister? What that family was like? I swear, it makes perfect sense that all these dudes who are creating the things that are going to destroy the planet, destroy humanity, destroy us, like that, like they literally, they're like family annihilators, but we are their family. We are forced into their family. The whole planet Earth is a part of their sick, twisted family. So they don't care. They can just go on their little rocket to the moon with their self-hating wife as much as they want, and like they don't care. They don't care. They hate themselves. They hate and I swear to God, there's so much of this is that they're like dad issues. If only dad will the way that so many women will destroy themselves when they have dad issues, or it doesn't have to be a dad, by the way, but a lot of times it is. We tend to do that violence inwardly unless we have power, right? This is where whiteness plays into it. But usually that we harm ourselves. We've been conditioned to like take care of other people. So a lot of times we'll do like really harmful stuff to ourselves. Now I'm not saying that men and across gender that this doesn't happen. But when you have like so many men who are, raised under patriarchy, right? And especially if they're white men with a lot of fucking money, they take all that self-hating violence outward. They hurt everybody, or they hurt the planet. And the way that like the billionaires, they harm so many people through this exploitation of labor that ends lives. Like this man is so violent. The way that like people don't see what they're doing. A lot of people don't, like, they worship billionaires still. Some people do. I know it's not as popular now. When these are very violent men married to enabling women who enable that violence and who are self-hating themselves and sometimes doing the violence themselves also, right? I'm just so tired of all these dudes with so many issues. They're trying to prove something to daddy, prove something to other men. It's whiteness and centering men is going to get all of us killed. I swear to God. Because that's like eugenics plays out because of that a lot of times. Homophobia, transphobia comes down to this violent patriarchal conditioning and whiteness, right? And how these men who hate themselves so much have so much power over us and have forced us to live in their home. I don't want these people to be my dad. I remember when Donald first got elected, I was like, oh my God, we all have an abusive dad. Like, we're stuck like daddy of the United States, even though there's a bunch of them, including this guy who are behind him, is an abusive man. I got out of an abusive relationship and now dealt with my dad stuff only to like be, in a government way, to have all these dudes in, like, not that they've not been in power, but have more power than ever now and just literally just doing whatever they want. We can fight back. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, well, but this defeatist thing. And also like, sorry, I know I'm all over the place, but Knitting Cult Lady has made a few videos recently about how the Rapture and how much cults are so much tied into this ideation. Right? I mean, and if you think about it, as much as I loved life, just destroying my body at that rate, I'm surprised I didn't have a ruptured esophagus, to be honest. I don't really talk about my ED stuff very often. I forget. I have so many things I want to talk about, but it was a big part of my life. Not anymore. I've very healthy relationship with food after just being at war with it for so long. And this is a lot of work. Okay. It took a lot of work to get where I'm at. But like, I didn't even see back then that part of that was like, it was like passive self-unaliving, right? And even though I loved life, I love life. I'm super curious, but I also had this other part of me that had like a death wish by going out and doing reckless things, by doing all this stuff to my body, by putting myself in harm's way with men to try to prove something that like, I'm going to be the exception. I'm not going to get harmed, or I'm not whatever. And I swear so many of these men are the same mentality, but they also have like a ton of power and privilege and like even more like issues then I can imagine, I'm guessing, or maybe I'm giving too much benefit of the doubt. Maybe they are literally, but I don't think anyone is just born evil. And so because they're unhappy, they are like family annihilators, and all of us got to go down with them. And I don't want that, right? And so again, please, like when we talk about decentering men, please don't think that it's just 4B. Like if that's what you're doing, great. I think more women should be on that path of of not buying into the things we're supposed to do. But don't think that it ends with just dating. Because, I have friends who are on this journey and are in the thick of it, and they don't even like men. They don't date men. They're not attracted to men. They only date women. And boy, do they realize they have a lot of it in relationship to just gender, right? And also their fathers, their brothers, like the way it plays out in different. It is so and religion, God, I was not spiritual for a long time because I was like, I don't have anything to do with some man in the sky. Like, men have never taken care of me. Why would I worship a dude? Like, men have literally only caused me harm. I had some great men in my life, but in general, all the most harm that I've received was from men or women who enable men. And so I'm like, I don't like the idea of some person like that. I don't like this order of like someone. I don't have free will? Like, what the hell? Like, I don't like Santa. And so I think a lot of this feeds into like what Nicole was talking about, what Shayna was talking about, like what my mutuals all talk about, and also like just about whiteness, what I've learned from White Women Whisperer and Tammy, or Delusional Influencer is her name on TikTok, who wrote this amazing book. Where is it? I usually have it on me. Hold on. Okay, it's upstairs. The Empathy Gap. Go order it. What I've learned from them is that all of this kind of thinking is like it's like cult-like thinking. And so even though I don't believe in the rapture, never have, there's a little part of me that still believes in that kind of thinking, right? Of this, oh, it'll be better when fill in the blank happens. It'll be better when I lose some weight. It'll be better when, like something with, I achieve what men have done. Like that I swear that was driving so much of my behavior. Part of it was just me being stubborn and me wanting to do what I wanted to do and being pissed that, that more women weren't in these industries. And there's also a part of me that took it too far and wanted to do what men did just to get approval of them and be like, see, I can do it too, to prove something. Whenever you're really trying to prove a point to anyone other than yourself, watch out, Anyway, I know this video is all over the place. If you want me to talk more on any of these subjects, so I was kind of talking about a whole lot of stuff, let me know in the comments which part, because there's so much to my story. There's so much that I hit on in this video. But I swear to God, the way, all of these men, they just so many of them just they didn't have a safe home or a good, they're abused, or they wanted their daddy's approval so bad, and they have all this endless money and power, and they go out in the world and punish all of us because their daddy didn't love them. And then I was out there punishing myself, and then, other people got hurt when you were hurting yourself. So everyone who loved me also was harmed by harming myself, because I wanted my dad to love me, because through my, my body being a certain way, through all this other stuff. God, I swear to God, if so many of us would just examine our relationship to our home and our sense of home and our relationship to not spirituality, religion, or any of that stuff. Oh my God, we could get here. We could get back. I could stop on this death spiral. We could slow it down. Okay. So again, even if you don't date men, even if you have nothing to do with them, please understand this stuff is so deep. So much of what I was doing when I literally wasn't dating men at all was still centered on men. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, share, hit the boost button. Please follow my Patreon. That's how I can afford to do this stuff. That's where I tell my really personal story. Let me know if you heard the comments on Drum Club Weekend. Comments on Drum Club Weekend. More on my Patreon about that's my drum right there. I slept in a parking lot with all my drum club friends. Spent the weekend under an olive tree. Look at these cute drum cup softening things. My hands are torn up. I had a great time. Drum club weekend was so cool. Patreon, I have a big long video about how amazing this weekend was. This is at night, and it was the best weekend ever. And I slept in my tent by myself, and all my friends around me at the drum club weekend.